What's going on, everybody? Today we have a little bit of a unique situation because, well, the Evo broke. Don't worry, it's not catastrophic. We don't have to go back to Moore for this. In fact, I'm going to call up some buddies. We're going to try and tackle this by ourselves, mostly because I have to. You see, a little over a month ago, we had a problem. The Evo broke a stud. Now, breaking an exhaust stud isn't necessarily the end of the world. It unfortunately chewed through 4 of them. So now, I'm leaking exhaust like it's going out of fashion, and we have to replace these studs with something better. And that is where JDC came in. We got these blued titanium studs and nuts for this header setup. I think these are going to look fantastic when they're finally on the car, and given that these are titanium, these should be strong enough to maintain our boost pressure where we have it and not fall apart on us. So, as you can see, parked outside my house, got the hood open. There's a little bit of a challenge trying to get this turbo out. See, as you can tell, these headers are very much set up, so there's not a lot of space in between, well, the rad and the block. In fact, technically speaking, the turbo is touching my radiator. You'll also notice we're not far into this brand because they are in fact what our spark plugs are now running on. We're no longer using spooling up. The thing that kills me is knowing that getting these studs out is going to be a nightmare because they're just fitted in a very specific fashion. This is such an ill omen. I'm out here filming and a tow truck's driving by. God, are you trying to tell me something? After a quick once over of everything going on with this build, I proceeded to start taking the headers off and draining the fluids out of the radiator. This turned out to be a much longer project than anticipated, and I had to call in Ian to help me continue to do some more work. We ended up dropping parts of the downpipe, some of the intercooler hose lines, and even one of the oil lines just so we could start to actually get some of these header studs out. And let me be the first to say, these studs were in bad shape. Their age was showing tremendously. It goes without saying that these titanium studs we're putting in are definitely going to be a cut above. So now on day 2, we've got a lot done, and more importantly, I have now frozen these studs just because there's some schmutz in the threads, and I gotta back them in and put them back in and back them out and all that jazz multiple times to kind of clear the threads out. But when they're cold, it causes the metal to shrink just a little bit, and sometimes it helps kind of cinch you back in there. But let me show you where we're at. So as you can tell, we were able to pull the radiator out by removing one of the fans on the face. We drained out all the fluids. We were able to unbolt the turbo all the way and pull it from the actual engine head. Now we have the last 3 remaining troublemakers. We have the one that snapped off in there, and we have these 2 guys. My goal right now is to try and get these 2 guys while I work on figuring out how to get that broken stud out. But these 2, at least, I have the stud puller, the thing that you spin on, it bites in, and it takes it out. Now, I'm just gonna hop on TikTok live and chat and chill with some of y'all and hope and pray that I can get these studs out, because I need a car so badly. Yeah, in case you hadn't figured out, as of right now, I'm daily driving the stretch rail, which is putting a lot of miles on it. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but with a lot of wear items already very well worn, like the drive belt and stuff like that, I gotta do some work on it. So I'm really hoping that either this gets done or Pajero comes back from Mitsubishi. Once it comes back, I won't be as worried, but with no vehicle at all, very worried. And after a live stream and a half on TikTok, we were able to get all the old studs pulled out and start putting in some of the new ones. But unfortunately, this is when tragedy would finally strike. After putting in so many hours of work into this project, the one stud broke off in the head would not come out. Even after we tried using multiple forms of extraction, instead, it caused our tools to go askew and round out the hole. Now, we're left with no choice. The Evo is dead on the operating table. So I've actually waited like maybe 5-6 days to finally finish this episode because we did so much work, we had made so much progress, and then tragedy struck. In the middle of us taking the last stud out and taking it out piece by piece, our tools got broke off in the head, stuck and cocked at an angle that may or may not be safe. It means that for us, we now have to take the head off the block in order to fix whatever's been done wrong. So it could mean that we are able to just get it to a machine shop where we'll be able to tap it somehow and get all the stuff out and fix our mistakes. Or it means that this car officially needs a new head. Now the good news is that I have a spare head. Years ago when Ian and I were living together at my dad's place, we had started amassing parts for a 4063 swap project. And although the project never came to fruition yet, we do have a lot of spare parts. Pulleys, belts, pumps, you name it, we've got it. And one of those key things was a completely fresh head. When I say completely fresh though, I don't mean like brand spanking new, I mean a fresh head that has been ported and polished by Apex out there in Colorado. This particular head has oversized valves. It has a lot of porting done to both sides, intake and exhaust, and it's going to be a really solid upgrade for us to utilize going forward with this car. It also means we could probably get even more power because we'll have more flow, more airflow, less restriction, and thus feed this turbocharger, this Moore S362, much faster. At least that's the theory. We don't have all the answers yet. We just need to take this thing back to Moore Automotive and hope and pray that it's not going to hurt my wallet too much. I know this was meant to be an exciting chapter, but this is a to be continued. This isn't me giving up on this car. There's so much in this car. To give up on it now would be an absolute disservice. So please stick around. She will be back, and hopefully when she comes back, we'll be able to drive it for a little while and then send it off to get some paint work done, because we finally found a paint shop that might actually be willing to help us out for a good price. With all that said, thank you guys for watching and tuning in. I hope that you guys will stick around for this journey, and we'll see you on the next episode, which will most likely be about scooters again. If you want to see more videos about this car, check out right here. This was the first time I got to drive my car in 3 years.